I'm Carl Anthony, and welcome to AutoSens, the world's leading community for ADAS and autonomous vehicle technology development. We create best-in-class events, training, and information to connect engineers, scientists, and automotive industry experts across the globe. One such expert is Henry Koren, Chief Product Officer at Imatest. He joins us with a very cool James Webb background. Henry, welcome, and thank you for being part of AutoSens today.
Glad to be here.
So, Henry, give us an overview for those of us who may not be familiar or who may need a refresher. Tell us a little bit about Imatest and then the work that you're doing today.
Sure thing. At Imatest, our focus is on characterizing imaging systems using objective methods. So capturing an image of a test target in a controlled environment, feeding that into our software, which uses standards-based routines to perform objective characterization, and extracting key performance indicators about how well the system performs in terms of all the variety of image quality factors, including sharpness, noise, dynamic range, chromatic aberration, texture reproduction, color accuracy, distortion. And we try to do that in a comprehensive manner and help our customers to build better cameras, which hopefully can improve safety and all kinds of other benefits.
Your website, imatest.com. I want to encourage all of our viewers to visit imatest.com. You've got an area in the top navigation bar, products and solutions, and then under solutions, under industries and automotive, if our viewers go there, you'll see a page that says automotive camera testing solutions. Imatest offers solutions for testing multi-camera automotive systems. Henry, tell us a little bit about Imatest in this area here. What are some of your automotive camera testing solutions and how are they beneficial for the industry?
So our focus on automotive has evolved over the last 5 years. One of the big things that we realized our previous solution didn't fit well with automotive was in terms of long-range testing. So providing target projection collimator systems where you can simulate a virtual distance of 10, 20, 30 meters up to infinity is really important for getting automotive cameras tested properly. Another factor is dynamic range, trying to get targets that have a very high dynamic range that can support the kind of sensors that we see in these automotive applications. We're finding that the dynamic range of the total system is not nearly as good as what the sensors are capable of. And so the factors of what is going on with the lens that doesn't enable it to capture that large dynamic range is really an important thing we try to help our customers to measure. We've also been involved with geometric calibration. Recently, we've been working on the validation of those calibrations. So if you have a calibration for a camera, we can kind of tell how, using a real world target, how well that camera intrinsics matrix actually maps to the real world. And that's just that's a handful of our solutions for automotive.
So this is a good transition here, Henry. Let's talk about your customers. Let's talk about some of the challenges that they're facing. And then second to that, how is Imatest helping them overcome these challenges?
Well, I think the biggest challenge is to try to get the computer vision systems to work as good as possible. And so that things like driver assist systems and fully autonomous vehicles have the best chance of operating safely. So there's, I guess one of the biggest worries about the automotive industry is kind of a race to the bottom when it comes to cost, and people trying to save money on a component, and then that component goes into a system that is safety dependent. That gives me a lot of worry because you might save a few cents on not putting a coating on the lens, but you might find that out of billions of miles driven, there's a certain position where you've got the sun on the horizon, your camera's dazzled by the light. You don't see a low contrast person wearing dark clothing on a dark background, and then your autonomous car creams them. So that's what we're trying to help prevent. And just doing a basic test in a kind of a nice gray lab has been a lot of what we've done before, but we've had to go much further beyond that to try to kind of determine the failure modes of these systems, which are going to involve bright light sources, low contrast objects, and detection routines, and how well those detection routines perform in the real world.
From your perspective, Henry, when it comes to automotive camera systems, where do you think the industry is headed in, say, the next 5 years? What are your thoughts there?
Well, there's a big trend to go outside of the visible spectrum. So especially with the in-cabin sort of camera systems, almost all of those are operating in near infrared spectrum. And so some of our kind of previous visual focused systems didn't work properly for near infrared. And so we're releasing some new targets that are going to have better support for near infrared. I also expect things to go even into longer wavelengths, and so thermal cameras are going to become more common than they are now. Wider fields of view, higher dynamic ranges. A really interesting trend that I've noticed lately is actually a move for lower resolutions, which is I think related to trying to keep power consumption under control. So, I mean, I guess you have things like event-based cameras; those are really interesting. But having a high resolution sensor, 8 megapixels for a lot of things in automotive, that isn't really that beneficial. You may be giving up some of the signal to noise ratio that you might otherwise have if your pixels were larger. So I'm seeing this trend for lower resolutions, and with the effort of not spending a lot of power for no good reason.
Right. And you mentioned the in-cabin applications, definitely a big conversation right now. That's looking ahead, Henry. Let's rewind a little bit. What are some of the most important milestones for Imatest in the last year?
So we have a whole new user interface that is replaced our previous user interface. It's much more modern. Works with, you can start with the file first. There's a kind of a machine vision or automatic chart identification process. So if you don't know what Imatest module supports the image that you've captured, Imatest will make a guess based on our AI and tell you what to do, and hopefully that makes the user experience much better. We've also been developing this target generation library, which can be used with simulation tools. So essentially it's creating a kind of a virtual test target, which you can then go through lens simulations, sensor simulations, kind of image signal processor simulations, and kind of try to model what is happening even before you build your first prototype, and trying to understand what kind of camera quality you're going to need to accomplish the computer vision tasks that you want your system to be able to do. And so trying to come up with a means of correlating the performance of your computer vision algorithm with an objective image quality analysis is something I think will be very useful for people doing that application. And we also have been working on, or actually it's in process right now, but we're working on developing this stray light and flare testing solution, which will involve moving a collimated light source attached to an integrating sphere and a variety of different sources, visible, near infrared, and positioning that all through within the image and outside of the image to try to see where does that stray light affect the image quality. Where do ghost images come up? Where does veiling glare obscure your ability to resolve contrast in your scene?
Right. Website Imatest.com, automotive camera testing solutions. Imatest offers solutions for testing multi-camera automotive systems. Again, the website Imatest.com. Henry, you've answered this in so many words, of course, but allow me to ask the question a little more succinctly. Why should companies work with Imatest, and what sets you apart?
Well, there's a big process in developing tools that can perform consistently, produce accurate measurements, produce precise measurements. And we've gone through a lot of lengths to try to make sure that our algorithms are as robust as possible. And a lot of the work we do is highly related to the standards. So, I mean, you could take a standard and implement it. But I would say, to get the full benefits of the accuracy and precision, it's a long process. We've worked many years on it, almost 20 years in business, and so I think we can kind of bring that experience to bear and give you a comprehensive suite of measurements, kind of out of the box. And it's the software is just one side of things. Getting the equipment set up that can facilitate those measurements performed repeatably. That's really important too. So, I mean, it's really the total system of software, test chart, and equipment, and lighting, and all those things go into what makes a good measurement system. And I think we've got a very good solutions for our customers.
Yeah, absolutely. Henry, want to thank you for sharing your expertise and your thought leadership today. Glad that Imatest will be joining us in Brussels here in September. I remember meeting Imatest for the first time in 2017 when we did our very first event in Detroit at the M1 Concourse. So going on 5 years now, and just great to see you again and to hear about all of the latest with Imatest. So Henry, from all of us here at AutoSens, we want to wish you the best of luck going forward. And of course, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you very much. See you in Brussels.
For more in-depth interviews like this, subscribe to our AutoSens YouTube channel and follow us on LinkedIn. For more information on our world-class technical training and events, visit auto-sense.com. That's auto-sense.com. Ahead of meeting in Brussels and on behalf of AutoSens, I'm Carl Anthony.